Hey, welcome everybody back to another installment of the awesome Opinions Are Stupid. My co-host, Jason. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Going to talk about the stuff that's happened. Jason will spend the day running around the city with his kids.
That's right, doing dad things, running around.
enjoying the warm day. It wasn't too bad today, actually.
We went to the island. Have you been to the island?
No, it's on my list, man. So people who aren't in New York, there is this. So New York, instead of giving you money or paying you more, what they started doing is just building more shit for you to play in.
Right.
So they have this. There's
a lot of parkland is being
a lot of new parkland. Right. There's a beach coming to Manhattan, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And they did this kind of like space weird like cube island thing right off of 18th Street. So if you know what I'm talking about, 18th Street is downtown by what used to be the meatpacking district, has turned into this kind of like crazy hip area where there's like a big ass museum down there now, and there's also
the High Line. So you have that park that's kind of
the High Line that goes all the way up to the 30s to this thing called the Helix.
Right.
And then there was a plan in place, to keep everything happen, and then
COVID, something called COVID.
COVID happened. So all that stuff. But there's this new little island out there that Jason went to. And Jason, give us a review of your island. I want to go check it out too. I probably won't be able to see it until later in the summer. But what did you think?
It's not kid friendly, which I was disappointed in.
Really?
Because it's more of a walking kind of thing, so you can kind of see the city from the west side.
Okay.
So you get good views of downtown, downtown like the World Trade Center area. You get nice shots of Empire State. You get to see more of like, going up towards, Manhattan North, but you don't really have like a play area or anything like that. So there's a part called the playground, but all the playground is just where people gather and meet and like eat and stuff like that, like little food trucks around.
Yes.
But it's not like a playground. What people thought would be a playground. So when kids were like, "Where's the playground?" We were like, "You're here. You're eating a hot dog. This is the playground." You know
all
what
right.
I'm saying?
Nothing for you. Sorry.
But like views. But it does have, from what I noticed, it does have little venues where they have like little amphitheaters. So today there was a poet that was like rehearsing poems that he was putting together for Sunday, and he was just going through that. So it's stuff like that they seem to be doing in there. So
there's a lot of
if
stuff.
You kind of want to, if you just want to like take a little walking tour, especially if you're next to the High Line, you could get off and just kind of continue because it's right there. It's all like one kind of environment.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
So you can like walk from the High Line to this thing.
No, but it's a block away, literally.
Okay.
So it's like you get off the High Line and then you cross the street from 12th Avenue right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you want to do that, then it's fine. But if you have a lot of kids, they're gonna get bored just kind of walking. You know what I'm trying to say? But it's good because then after that we walked over to Max Brenner and got some chocolate and packed them up on chocolate basically.
You went to Max Brenner.
Chocolate King, baby. The chocolate
14th
King.
Street has many things happening down there. You got the Apple Store. You have like a lot of art exhibits that are happening because
right.
You have of course Chelsea
Market,
and the High Line.
And there's a great Western beef supermarket there too. If you want like
Western,
like hoagie sandwiches for like nothing basically.
Yeah, there's also an Italy around there too. I think right.
Yes, but that's more like Fifth Avenue, like 23rd Street.
23rd and 5th. Yeah. So right. Go to Italy, get yourself one of the the greatest sandwiches of all time. That short rib sandwich. Holy Moses!
Right.
You haven't had it.
And if you want to see Stars Homes or ex-Stars Homes, the Wayans brothers grew up in the projects right next to Chelsea Market, so you could just walk around there and get the feel of that.
Or go to BBQs if you want to get the whole.
Right.
The whole ghetto experience. That place sucks. I have no idea why people like that place so much. It's like, hey, you want your food, Bert? Come on down to BBQs.
Because it's like ribs and chicken for like $7.99. That's why.
Burnt. And everything's burnt. Nothing is cooked well. It's all burnt. So yeah.
And you get those huge Texas-sized drinks that have like the vodka shots.
Well, you got to get drunk if you're gonna drink. If you want to eat burnt food. You know,
we don't eat fine cuisine like you. You know, we can't sit there and create these marvelous dishes in your home, like So some
you
people
know what
eat
I
out
did
once in a
last week? Let me tell you what I did last week.
while. You see, I knew it was coming. That's why I said
Last week, I had. Did I tell you about the macaroni and cheese and pork and chipotle pork shoulder?
You were gonna bake the last time I heard. You were gonna
Nah, I
bake.
didn't bake. I didn't bake. So it was like Wednesday. I was really hungry, and I was like, "Man, I'm hungry. I don't want to." I was gonna think of maybe getting Chinese food, but instead, I remembered that I had a one of these like already made microwavable mac and cheeses that are terrible. Right? They're horrible.
Right.
But if you want to, like, I usually keep it in there for my son who just comes in and eats it. He's like, I'll eat it. I guess he eats it.
Right.
He's vegetarian, but I guess but he's not a vegan. So I was like, okay, I got some pork shoulder that I've cooked in the slow cooker, and I got got the mac and cheese thing. So I took the pork shoulder and I cut up in little pieces, and I threw it on a frying pan, and I threw in some onions, and I threw in some peppers, and I took the microwave thing and I microwaved it, and then it came out, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. So I put paprika and a little bit of
can't go wrong with paprika.
Yeah, a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper, and I mixed it up, man. And then I took the pork and I threw it in there, and I mixed that up, and I ate that, and that was fantastic. It was.
So it sounds like it was like chopped Jersey City or something, where you just get elements and then you just put it together to form this new creation.
Things, you make something out of it. Go. Yeah.
And your son was the critic, because if he didn't like it, he would have told you right.
My son wasn't there. I was hungry and he wasn't around. Because otherwise he would have just eaten the mac and cheese and I would have been ass out.
Right.
So Loki ended last week.
Yes.
Right to the entertainment stuff. Loki ended last week, and a couple things happened. Actually, a couple things happened. Marvel's moving forward with their Blade movie with I can't pronounce his name. The Ali guy who's replacing what's his name?
Not Wesley Snipes.
Who's replacing? Who's replacing him as Blade? Which is exciting because I like the Blade character, and we'll see what happens. But the movies that were done in the 90s and the aughts were pretty good. But we'll see what's going on. And
one of the greatest scenes of all time was that Blade scene with in the club, and the blood starts coming down, and everybody goes crazy. All the vampires go crazy. Great scene. How they
that's
set
one of the movies that got me. One of the reasons that I got into EDM was because of the Blade movie.
Right.
I was into EDM a little bit, but the Blade movie put me over the top because their soundtrack is really, really good.
Hey, yeah, it was a cool soundtrack, and hence that scene where that song got you pumping, and then all of a sudden, poor guy gets swallowed up. But, hey, he shouldn't have been there.
and the bad guy, the guy who ends up being the guy that throughout the movie gets his ass kicked by Blade every time he shows up. It's really funny. Gets his hand cut off, and it's just great. That was great. That's a funny line. That's throughout the thing.
One of the greatest Blade lines, even though it wasn't in the Blade movie, but it's just Wesley Snipes used it when the IRS came after Wesley Snipes because he wasn't paying his taxes, and he owed like $5 million, and he goes, "Blade don't pay taxes." Yep, but they came after Blade.
Don't pay and now I go to jail. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pay your fucking taxes, asshole.
Blade don't pay taxes.
Yeah, what are you fucking
greatest line ever?
You do it. It's like people go, well, you go after the black people. It's like, yeah, they go after the black people. Of course, they're easy. They don't hire hire accountants. They remember when the tax guys went after Willie Nelson, and Willie Nelson was like, oh, the tax is coming after me. Get an accountant, Willie. You know what I'm saying? Get an accountant.
Right. Let's do this legitimately.
So much money. Get an accountant who will hide your money. That's the whole point of having an accountant. Sorry about that, folks.
We're not condoning tax evasion by hiding money. What you're saying, if you get a good accountant, you can.
No, the accountants hide your money. That's what accountants do. They hide your money. All right, so
we're not saying go to the Bahamas. We're just saying.
But yeah, Mashallah Ali is the new Blade. I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I don't care. Mashallah Ali. Great actor, loved him in everything he does. Actually, really, really good. He was in the horrible Luke Cage show. Show was horrible, but he was good in it. You know.
But will they have Wesley Snipes come in to be like an old Blade teaching the new Blade the tricks kind of thing, or like a cameo, or that's not gonna happen? They're not going to that level.
I don't know. Wesley Snipes one of those guys. I don't think so. Wesley Snipes was one of those guys that no matter he could be in anything and it was good, right?
Yeah.
Like he was in what was that? Was that Passenger 47 or whatever it was?
Yes, right. He was in the plane,
Passenger
right?
40,
Exactly.
Always bet on black. Remember that line? That movie's like an hour and 20 minutes of dumb, and he was like, gets in a motor. It's like it doesn't make any sense. He gets in a motorcycle at the end. You're like, wow, what? There was a plane. What happened? Always bet on black again. He was a bad guy in New Jack City.
Yep.
Great
movie. Another good movie. Yeah.
Good. I don't know.
Chris Rock's most famous maybe role of all time.
Chris Rock as a crackhead.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Chris Rock movie that he was in, the movie, the Spiral movie. I didn't see that.
Yeah, nobody did. So
okay,
don't feel bad.
I'm glad because I was a little concerned. Right. Maybe I missed some. Maybe I missed the boat. Oh no, they missed the boat. I got it. So Loki ends last week, and I gotta tell you, I'm surprised that, first of all, the biggest thing about Loki, the biggest spoiler, and by the way, it's been a week, shut up. The biggest spoiler about Loki is that we're getting another season.
Right.
Also, we find out who this guy is, he that remains, who I guess is Kang the Conqueror, I guess.
Right.
Who there's be more versions of Kang, I guess, coming. And, he talked for a long time, and, we So
you're saying you didn't like the final episode? It's not
it's not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't a conclusion. Like all the other Marvels,
that's what season 2 is for, though.
Right. The other Marvel shows ended. Like they were like, okay, now Falcon is now Captain America. Yeah, don't worry about it, folks. If you haven't watched it, please. With WandaVision, Wanda's now Wanda. Scarlet Witch.
Right.
Which kind of like puts a stamp on the ends of this, but because of what's happening with Loki, you kind of get this thing, and the thing is that it's okay. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, and the cliffhanger is, of course, that everything changes for Loki at the end of the episode. Nobody knows who he is. There's a new statue that takes care of those 3 other ones, and all this other shit. So more to come. What did you think? Did you see it?
Because there's a season 2. I didn't mind it because I think there was too much to pack. Because there's so much to pack, and that's what scared me. I remember when we talked about this in the beginning was like, I think the first episode, even though I enjoyed it, was a lot of background and a lot of talking, and there wasn't enough action for me. But because it's season 2, now I don't mind it, because I knew that they couldn't wrap it up in six episodes because it's just too much. When you start talking about different timelines and different variants and different worlds that could be destroyed or not destroyed, stuff. That's just way too complicated to break down in 30 minutes when you have all these other characters. So because they had this huge monologue, I look at it like, okay, now the real Loki begins in season 2. You know what I'm trying to say? Now we got everything done, and let's move on. So because of that, I'm not upset or anything. I thought it was fair because of season 2. Now they would have just ended it that way because it would have been easy for them to kind of just say, oh, end it and then make a movie or something like 2 years from now. Then I would have been pissed off. But because they're saying there's a season 2, it's like, all right, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, especially when
you're like, all right, fine. Okay.
Yeah, I live with it. Right.
You're right.
Right.
Hey,
they could have easily ended it right there. I mean, literally, they could have easily ended it like, oh, he's in a whole different character and they created a movie. But, they're telling you there's going to be a part 2. So because of that,
the thing I like about it is that we first of all, they killed him off in the last Avengers movie and stuff, and I was sad about that, but I'm glad that he's not dead, and I'm glad that we're getting more of him, and I'm glad that there's an alligator Loki out there. My favorite character of the entire thing is alligator Loki. Can't get enough of him. There's a variant of an Izod shirt. The Izod is the alligator with the alligator Loki with the little alligator Loki hat, and I think that's fucking cool. I want to get one of them, at least one. I was like, speaking of, just for a minute, talking about these various. So when back in the 80s, when I was a younger man.
Wait, before you go, is this a Silence of the Lamb jersey that I'm seeing? Because I got the butterfly. Is this a Silence of the Lamb butterfly?
Oh, no, yeah, it's a moth, actually. It's a death's moth on a t-shirt. because it's cool, and I like T-shirts and shit.
No, I just thought it was like a Silence of the Lamb reference or something.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
It just threw me out. For some reason, it just popped in my head. I'm like, that movie's like 25 years old. He's wearing,
and still fucking excellent. If you want to see a good movie that you haven't seen yet, Signs of the Lambs. It puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Good.
Fantastic.
Anything, to be fair, anything Jodie Foster does is actually pretty good. Let's be honest. I'm a Jodie Foster guy. Ever since Freaky Friday back in the 70s. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Big Jodie.
I actually like her Little Man Tate.
Right.
Movie her first directorial movie about her son. She plays the mom of this kid, and the kid is a genius. And that movie is really interesting. So there was a between 1989 in 1985 and 92 when the indie explosion happened, and there was a lot of independent movies coming out, and all these movies were kind of like hitting that you couldn't get enough movies, and you went to the theater and you went to the video store, and there were tons of movies. There was a lot of movies happening, and I loved every single minute of it. And that's when you got stuff like Philadelphia and Silence of the Lambs by the same director actually, and Little Man Tate. And all these actors were becoming first-time directorial review people and stuff. So a lot of great movies came out around that time. The Coen brothers started hitting.
Right.
But anyway, going back to the 80s for a minute. Do you remember Le Tigre?
Yes. Oh, yes, Le Tigre. Yeah.
So I used to have a lot of Le Tigre shirts.
Hold that tiger. The commercial would be the kid running away from the girls. Remember that? Wasn't that the tiger shirts? Hold that tiger. Wasn't that it? Yeah.
And Shams the Baron.
Yeah.
Shams, man, has the Shams appeal.
Yeah, I remember those commercials, Tigre shirts. Yeah.
But the Tigre shirts, I used to have a lot of them. And that was the thing, it was really cool. And they were cheap. They were like $12 or whatever. And you could get like, or like, $18, $15. And you can get like, places you get 3 for $10. And then what happened was they disappeared. And then they came back. And now they're $50 a shirt. And I'm like, get the
because what's old is new again, folks.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. They're just $50. You want a polo shirt with a trigger on it, it's gonna cost you some money.
Right.
So Loki.
By the way, speaking about that 90s director's wave, I finished listening to Quentin Tarantino on Rogan, and he kind of mentioned that. He mentioned that when he made his first movie, he was in the Cannes Film Festival with all these other great directors at the time, and he looked around the room, and he was like, "Wow, we're going to be making this group of people are going to be making movies for the next 30 years." But yet, like when you look at it, like they made a few, and then everybody kind of started falling off and started doing other things because life happens, or they just couldn't get projects made because of Hollywood. So he said that he felt lucky that he was able to make whatever he wanted, and basically push through all that minutia kind of thing and still succeed 30 years. Because he's saying that a lot of those people that he knows that are really talented directors are doing like episodics now because, the industry has changed so much. You can't just be a director to break in like that and create movies, without playing a certain game. And he mentioned, the whole comic book world, and he said it's great. He would have loved this if it was like the 80s because that's when he was really into comic books. But now that he's older, he's kind of like doesn't have the same passion for the movies. But there's so many of them out there, like it's kind of saturated the market where you can't make like good independent movies. He feels
you can make good independent movies. You can. They're still out there. Here's the thing about that guy.
I keep bringing him up because I'm waiting for you to go on your tangent.
That guy stepped in so much shit. So Quentin Tarantino, he's well, I like Quentin Tarantino.
Yes, he likes his movies.
I like it. I like Quentin Tarantino. The ongoing issue with Quentin Tarantino is this: he doesn't need to make as many movies as someone like Spielberg does. Spielberg got another project. Like, whoa, this one's the next one. We talked about this. He's constantly
right.
He's like a shark. He's like the shark in Jaws. Spielberg is constantly doing. Um, Tarantino makes a movie, has have a cup of tea, has a cup of coffee, watches some television, thinks about it, makes another movie. Like,
Right.
and he takes his time, and his projects are very varied and specific, and there's like they kind of like flow out of a place that's very different. And you were talking about how he doesn't want to, he wants to like stop making movies because he wants to go on top. Like I said to you before, he'll take a 5-year break and then make, it's gonna bite him and he's gonna come back.
Right.
It's hard to get away from it. Like, look at people like Kevin Smith. Around the same time as Quentin was hitting, Kevin Smith was hitting. Kevin takes his fucking time, and his audience is small. He's making movies for maybe, 4 million people. Like, there is no, but they're forever. Like, a Kevin Smith movie will be out there forever. Same thing with Tarantino. So, and they came from the same Miramax, Michigas, all those guys that came out of Miramax and stuff. So,
would a Kevin Smith be able to come out through today with that niche? Yeah, but he's already got his audience. He's already kind of baked into the system. I'm talking about a guy coming out of school right now who wants to be the next Kevin Smith. If you can't make Avengers, 5.
Yeah, but you don't need to. But that's the thing.
But that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. That it's not as easy.
I think he's full of shit.
He's saying he was lucky to get it because he's just been able to meet the right people in the right situations. But not everybody can get into that situation.
The thing is that it's about, first of all, technology's gotten to the point where anybody can make a movie now.
That's true.
One.
That is true.
Two, there is so many avenues that need content. You can make a movie and put it on YouTube yourself, kind of like what we're doing every week.
Woohoo!
And there's a lot of stuff. Now, that being said, you can drown in the content out there, but it doesn't mean you can't make a movie and it can't be picked. Netflix, you make a movie for one, for $500,000 and it's okay, and Netflix, and it goes to it goes to Sundance and it gets picked up by Netflix or picked up by Peacock or picked up by, you see what I'm saying, Paramount Plus.
You're not wrong.
Hulu,
right.
Which is Disney, but Hulu. You can't say that doesn't happen. But
you can be a working director. I think what he's saying. You can be a working director, but you can't be Spielberg anymore because they won't let you get to that point. That's kind of what he's saying. Like, you can't be Quentin anymore because if you come up with some crazy movie that's killing the A, B, and C, and it's not part of the marketing scheme and it's not part of Disney's plans, like it's just not going to be made. So if you want to make a movie, you can, but will you hit those levels he's trying to say?
But do you need to, though? That's the thing.
That's true.
Do we need another Spielberg? I
That's
don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know we need that. You know what? Here's the thing. We have people like James Gunn, and we have people like, Carpenter's retired. But we have people like James Gunn, and we have people like lots of other smaller time directors that get picked up to make movies. Like there's Hollywood right now is really hungering for new ideas and new people. That's why the guy who that's why M. Night Shyamalan is getting away with shit.
He's making a movie called Old or something. Did you see this? I saw a trailer earlier the other day.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's making his own movies with his own money now.
Yeah,
and
right.
His money, and a lot of people are doing that. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make my own movie with my own money, and we'll see what. His movie Split, and his movie, sequel to, what is that? Not Unbroken. What's the name of that thing?
The Bruce Wilson? Yeah, Unbreakable.
The Unbreakable sequel that came out, Mr. Glass or Glass.
Right.
So there's an ability. You guys gotta catch the public. Like, I know that there's a lot you could say, well, what about James Wan, for example? James Wan makes a lot of movies. Are they good movies? He makes a lot of movies,
Right.
So there's stuff like that. I don't know. I'm happy. I think he does. It's not that his point isn't well taken. But is it that though?
So I'm gonna add to a point you said. I think we do need Steven Spielberg every 20 years or something. I think we do need that in our society when it comes to movies, because I believe that if not, the institutions, the big boys, the Sonys of the world, the Disneys of the world, they want to, keep a certain level of movie making and TV show making because they have a track. And if you don't have those Spielberg types that kind of come out of nowhere and then do these, crazy type movies, the Jaws of the world, that type of thing that kind of like just changes the narrative. I think we need that every now and then. And he made that point. He said like the 80s was kind of like we Hollywood went into these kind of like slumps where you kind of like you're in a bad time, and then all of a sudden this explosion of movies from the 60s to about the 80s, and then it kind of died out again and regrouped again in the 90s, and now we're kind of in a low point, he's saying. And I think we do need that every now and then in the pop culture to kind of shock people and realize, oh, this is an art form. It can be used for more than just comic book movies, even though I love the comic book movies. You know what I'm trying to say?
Look, man, comic book movies are episodic at this point. So we could say, well, those are the movies that are this year. I mean, we had a fucking apocalypse that stopped people from going out. The movies that I've seen so far in the theater have been King Kong vs. Godzilla, and I mean, I know they're genre, but I like to go to genre movies. King Kong vs. Godzilla, Quiet Place 2, I saw Black Widow. I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna see the Anthony Bourdain movie.
Oh, interesting.
That's because I have a friend that wants to see it, and I was like, I'll go.
Right.
I'm gonna go see, Suicide Squad, but there's tons of other movies that are coming out that I want to see. I still want to see Fast and Furious 9. These are all genre big summer movies. I'm gonna see the this weekend. 2 big movies come out this weekend. They just talking about it. July
this weekend,
23rd. Hold on.
What have the numbers been in the box office? I haven't noticed because I watched everything that comes out like on HBO Max and stuff.
The biggest number has been for
Godzilla, King Kong.
Black Widow did the best so far.
Oh, Black Widow. Oh, did it? How much did it make? That's a good question. I didn't know how much.
$200 million.
Really? It made that much?
Worldwide, yeah. But Disney was like, oh, Disney Plus, it made another $60 million. And we're like, okay, Disney Plus, take it easy.
Right.
It's 2 movies. Oop. Space Jam came out. Snake Eyes comes out. Old comes out.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes, yeah. Whatchamacallit? Snake Eyes.
When are they making the Sergeant Slaughter movie?
No. They're not. Come on. Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, Snake Eyes, and Old comes out this week. And then next week, coming out July 30th. It's already the end of the year, end of the month. Holy crap.
It made $80 million opening weekend, according to this, and $60 million in the box office.
And then movies on the 30th, 2001. Jungle Cruise, which I gotta see. Stillwater, The Green Knight, which looks crazy. Jungle Cruise on the 28th. I'm gonna run to see that in the theater. And
Enchant.
No Time to Die comes out in November. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Hey, here's the thing, man. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of superhero movies, but genre movies always do well, man. They always do well.
No, I agree.
And we're still reeling from this freaking apocalypse, man. It's apocalypse, man. So there's it's crazy. It's a little crazy, don't you think? I mean, yes.
The world, you're saying, or the movie world?
Here's the world, but I think that movies are going to come back. I think by the end of the year, you're going to have. First of all, the Delta variant is going to kill all the people it's going to kill. I'm not fucking around. Anybody, you can look at the stuff that's happening with Delta variant. Something like 83% of the people who are who are hospitalized right now are being hospitalized by the Delta variant. So Fox News will keep talking about saying it's people's choice not to get vaccinated, but all they're doing is sending people to the hospital and killing them. And I know people who got sick. Depending on what it is, what shots you got, there's a good chance you're getting it. It's not. And I hate the idea, but that's what's happening, man. It's crappy. It's a crappy situation.
So I sent you an article concerning the Delta variant and ivermectin. Remember that article I sent you? What did you think? Did you read it? Did you glance at it?
I went through it. There was a medicine that supposedly was really great. And then
That's been around since like the 50s and 60s. So this thing has been around for a long time at this point.
and they're saying that it's no good.
Right.
Right?
But scientists have, every now and then I listen to a guy you hate, Brett Weinstein, just because he
I don't
seems to
hate
try
the
to
guy.
break. He tries to break things down scientifically, even if he might be leaning one way. So I try to see what the science is behind these things. And apparently, from what he said about this ivermectin thing, is that it's been around since like the 50s or 60s. And it's been, they've treated millions of people with it when it comes to different different other types of things, not a COVID specifically, but like I want to say like dengue fever, those type of things. So they know what it does to people. They know if you take it, what the effects are in the body. And apparently some small pockets around the world, apparently, like a couple places in Brazil, a couple places in India, who were like really ravished by COVID, decided to use ivermectin. And these studies have basically shown that people have been cured of it pretty quickly, and side effects have went down, and like drops of COVID dropped dramatically in the area. So they're saying, so basically he's saying maybe we need more study, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but like this is something we should kind of look at. But what he's saying is that it's not being looked at, he believes, is because basically not corporate America, but corporations that are in charge of the new vaccines don't see this as a money-making tool. They rather see the new vaccinations that are popping up as their moneymaker. So they rather not talk about this thing.
You know what? I understand that, and I get it, and I understand that he doesn't like pharmaceutical companies, and neither do I.
Right.
Fucking get vaccinated. Forget about all this bullshit about money. You have something that works. Get fucking vaccinated. You want to use this stuff as a secondary thing when people get sick? Great, use it, whatever. But if you're sick and you're dying, you can't get vaccinated then. Use that whatever they call that. What was it? Ivermectin? Ivermectin. Use that when you're sick. Fine, cool. Use that as a treatment. But as a prevention, get fucking vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? We should have a mess of medicines that are waiting to be used as treatments. I don't care who's pushing it or who's not pushing it. If this guy's saying, doctor's saying you should use it, great. Then the FDA, but the FDA is saying it doesn't like it being used.
Right.
So you're saying that it's a conspiracy now.
He's saying that we have, according to his views, there is research, based on these pockets of countries and places that are using it, where there's more to it than it's not good for you, especially since we know the side effects. So he's saying that he believes that maybe they're not pushing this because there's no money in something that's already out there. You know what I'm trying to say? But there's money in new drugs. So why not push something that's already out there?
I don't understand. Because we know that pharmaceutical companies, as soon as they smell the blood in the water, raise the prices. Right. They do it for stuff like basic stuff. And we were talking about insulin. They raise the price of insulin. They raise the price of, as soon as they figure out, like I said, there was a thing in the paper. Remember I told you can make insulin, that you can make it in your bathtub. Yeah. There was a thing in the paper, newspapers are gone. There was a thing on the internet recently about how easy it is to make it, and how it's so fucking cheap to make and easy to make, and how companies are really going out of their way. Like, it should be free. Like, insulin should be free. It's like. Right. But they don't want it to be free because it's a maintenance drug. So how do you make money nowadays? Subscriptions. How do you take care of that? Make people subscribe to their insulin and make them cost $500, and then have the insurance company say, okay, it's going to cost you $100 a month, and we'll take the rest of it. It's like ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Insurance company should say. If I was an insurance company, I'd say, hey, bean counting. I'm an insurance company. How much does it cost for these basic drugs? Oh, yeah? We're going to buy them from so-and-so for this much, and we're going to have you subscribe to them. To save us money, here's why. Because there's no reason why I should be paying Joe Blow Pharmaceutical Company $500 for your insulin that's only costing me $50 to make. So we're going to charge you $75, you're going to pay us $25, and we're going to, cut down the cost or whatever, and therefore it doesn't cost us fucking anything. Why are they doing that?
wasn't that the idea behind? I want to say about a year and a half ago, where Amazon got together with the Oracle of Omaha. Remember that? Remember that
Yeah,
story?
and then that disappeared, right? You
And it
remember how
just
that
disappeared.
disappeared?
Right.
Right.
That's
You know
what I mentioned,
why?
because that was their
Because
plan, was to buy these
Trump went
drugs.
after them.
Oh, is that true? I didn't know the whole reason.
Yeah, Trump's FDA had a real issue with Amazon doing this. And you know what? I don't like conglomerates. Giant conglomerates that send people in dick spaceships to the moon or whatever the fuck he went today. Today he launched Blue Origin launched its rocket into space for 10 minutes or whatever, and Jeff Bezos cursed a lot, and everybody's happy. Jeff Bezos went to space with a penis-shaped rocket ship that reminded me of Josie and the Pussycats in space.
Josie and the Pussycats. Great
Out of space. Good up, kids. But I mean, we talked about this.
Yeah.
I
wasn't aware that they stopped that. I was unaware that the FDA
there's not.
came
They didn't, I don't know if they stopped it. I just know they made a big announcement and then it disappeared and there's been nothing happening.
So you're saying that behind the scenes, the FDA,
I think that there's definitely
somebody
some
came
bullshit from fucking look. Jeff Bezos is Amazon's server thing that they were gonna use. Jedi was gonna use as their server farm or whatever. Fucking Trump stopped that and made it go to Microsoft, and then Bezos and Amazon went after them. Went after that whole thing last year. With his lawyers, and I think he was right to do it because Trump just can't decide. I don't like you. You can't get a fucking contract. Fuck you.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I think Bezos should go after Trump. Just go after Trump.
Yeah.
Just go after Trump with his lawyer. His $1 billion worth of lawyers. Because Trump isn't worth $1 billion. Like
right. You can't keep him in the courts for if you keep him in the courts for 20, 30 years. Bezos won't care.
He can buy and sell Trump like Trump was lettuce at this point, which is frightening. Anybody who's has that much money, that's some scary shit.
Crazy. That one person can have that much power.
Just one.
When you think about it.
We have like a couple of hundred.
No, I'm just saying one in this case, and
Yeah, Bezos can fucking buy and sell Trump like he was fucking lettuce, and that's the thing.
Right.
That's scary.
Right.
Curtis Sliwa for New Yorkers is running for the mayor of New York. Curtis Sliwa, if you don't know who he is the guy that ran the Guardian Angels, and he still
does, right? He still owns it, doesn't he?
He's still he's a fucking goofball, and he's running as the Republican contender against the guy who's gonna win. I don't know what's his name.
Adams, the former New York City cop.
Adams, the former New York City cop who showed up with Mario Cuomo and said, "Hey, I'm Eric Adams, and Mario Cuomo likes me." Yes, last week. I think it's gonna be pretty. I think it's gonna be a pretty silly. I mean, if Curtis Sliwa comes out of nowhere to beat this guy, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's going to be a very interesting race.
Well, let's take it this way. If you're Curtis Sliwa, what's your platform in a sense? Because the thing about Eric Adams, he's a former cop, so he's running on police. Not reform necessarily, but understanding the police system to fix it and to change it if he has to change it. So this is a former cop. So you can't be a Curtis Sliwa and talk about, we're going to fix the cops when you have a guy who was a cop saying, this is what I want to do to fix the cops. You know what I'm trying to say? So in that sense, what's his leg up on him if you want to look at it through strategic matters? You know what I'm saying?
So Curtis Sliwa says, I'm at his website, reform the police, refund the police, safer subways, education, no-kill shelters, advancing community education, UBI, property tax reform, and right to business. I don't know what that means.
Property tax reform. Okay, he's saying it shouldn't be so high, and I know he's saying about that. Yeah. Okay.
1.2% property tax cap. Market value assessments, tax exemption efficiency, eliminate university tax privileges. Private university colleges pay their fair share of property taxes. Eliminate MSG's tax privilege. Okay, so, all right. I mean, That's not a bad. Those aren't bad things.
Sounds like you like him.
Add more cops. Public safety. Sign the petition. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. NYC needs police. Let's stop sucking the cop sticks. All right, cops are problematic. Mayor of NYC.
All I know is
Build
the Yang gang did not.
Eric Adams. Okay, let's see what Eric Adams' platform. Let's see what his platform. I'm just interested because I don't live in New York City, folks, so I'm not voting.
But he lives in like the 6th borough, which is Hoboken / Jersey City.
Yeah, he doesn't even live in New York. That asshole. Like, I live in New York. You don't fucking live in New York. The thing is that though, you can't afford to live in New York, from what he explained. When someone says that I can't afford to live in New York, you got to wonder what he means by that. Mm-hmm. Supposedly that's his son lives in New York, so you know.
Right.
He's a handsome guy. Look at those teeth. Endorse vision, economy. His vision. He doesn't have a platform.
He has a vision. He can see the future.
Vision is, I'm Eric Val. Look at my economy, education, healthcare, safety, housing, in depth. So let's see. Healthcare. I don't even know what it means. A healthier city, closing racial health gaps, preventing.
And now we're saying this. Eric Adams still has not won officially because we're doing a ranked choice voting.
Yeah, he's gonna.
That's still in the process. We don't want to say it's official. We don't want to breaking news that we know inside track information at this point. It's still being votes are still being counted.
Here's the thing. The Republicans the Republican clown car was so awful. And there are people that only vote conservative in New York, and they're going to vote for Sliwa anyway. But Sliwa is the worst possible fucking. It's like nobody wants. It's like I can't. Like Trumpers are trying to get into. It's like you can't be a Trumper and try to get into government in New York. You got one person that's a Trumper, and she's insane. The Staten Island person.
Yeah,
she's crazy. And she's just following the line. I'm just not. I mean, New York State is different, but New York City, get out. Hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
we only hire Republicans when the Democrats do really poorly. You know that's why Giuliani won, and Giuliani was crazy as fuck for the 12 years or 14 years that he was.
Bloomberg was wasn't a. At the time, he was going back and forth in different parties just to get elected.
He was a moderate independent, and honestly, all he did was make property taxes go up.
Right.
He made real estate go up in New York. That's it.
Right.
And fuck up the school system. Because honestly, do we need all these charter schools? No. Spend money in the schools that we have.
Right.
Charter schools. Fuck charter schools. Anyway, so I want to talk about Black Widow for a little bit.
Break it down.
Hashtag family.
He saw it twice.
I had to. Saw it twice. Could have probably seen it a third time with the boy. There was a lot of talk. There was a lot of chatter on the internet about how it was too late. It's just too late for this Black Widow movie. It should have happened sooner. And I got to tell you this. No, it shouldn't have happened sooner. Here's why. Who cares? No offense. I like Black Widow. I like the Black Widow movie. I like the fact that Disney was pressured into making one. But honestly, did it have to happen before the Avengers shit came out? No.
Not really.
No.
It didn't really affect anything from the story plot or anything like that.
It introduced the new Black Widow.
Right.
For the people who haven't seen it yet. But honestly, I don't. And don't worry. I'm not giving anything away. Trust me. Ooh, look at my hands. Ooh. It's like what's going to happen anyway. She's dead, right? So, yeah, that happened too, folks. That was 2 years ago. That was 3 years ago, though. So let's catch up.
Right. That was a whole different movie.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, 2019, as a matter of fact, when things were cool. I swear to God, the best thing about COVID is I got to see that movie 4 times during COVID.
because we had nothing else to watch.
There
You
was
just
nothing
kept
else to
watching
fucking
stuff.
watch. And then Disney
Right.
Plus came around and started like giving you shit to see. So there was talk about Black Widow, and I gotta tell you, I don't think so. I think it actually came out when it's supposed to come out. It hooks you into all the Disney Plus stuff that's happening. It's good. It's a good way. It's a good way to keep things moving. But now since we have this alternate universe, who says Natasha can't come back? Who says that Tony Stark can't come back? Who says that?
That's why I don't mind the second season, because now you can open up all sorts of doors where she's alive in a different realm or different. So that's what I'm saying. You can do so many things. That's why the last episode I'll give it a pass. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I mean, it's they do the What If show and it gets all nutty, and then I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty excited about all these alternate versions of the Marvel universe happening, and you know, maybe we'll get some more Thanos. Who knows?
Right.
Get some Thanos, maybe Thanos and Kang crossover.
Teaming up. Yes.
But
a buddy movie. A buddy evil movie.
Thanos and Kang are cops.
Bad guy. Instead of good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, worst cop. Bad cop, worst cop. You know. So you know, we might get that. It just opens it up. It's fine. It's okay. I just want my Fantastic Four sooner than later. Why don't we have anything about Fantastic Four yet? Please, with the fucking Fantastic Four already.
They're afraid of that movie, man. It's been ruined so many ways and so many times. I think somebody's afraid to take it up.
I told you the formula. You don't let Fox do anything. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Fox and Warner Brothers, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm telling you. They hang too much on the directors.
But let's be honest. If you're at Disney and you're creating this world and you've seen the movie flop 3 times now, like you're not gonna make this the forefront of your world until you kind of get all your ducks in a row. You know what I'm trying to say? Even though they might want to do something, but you want to take a chance now that'll be a flop for you too.
The Avengers are done. They're done.
Right.
There's not gonna have another Avengers movie for a long fucking time, if anything. What they need to do is, since you want to hear what I think about this? Because I'll tell you.
I mean, they ruined Silver Surfer. I mean, how much more do you want to get? Come on.
They ruined Silver Surfer because Galactus is a person, right? So what they are doing with the Eternals,
right?
The reason why they're letting you go to the Eternals is because the Eternals have these giant things that show up. They're gigantic, and they show up. I'm thinking they're going to show up in the Eternal movie, and you're going to see these things, and you're going to be like, "Oh, these are the Eternals. These are the judge, our king, the judge, and all this other stuff." And from there, you could easily extrapolate Galactus. And from there, since you're easily extrapolating Galactus, you could easily extrapolate Fantastic Four. Because now, in the Silver Surfer, it's not a cloud.
Right.
We can say, hey, you've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy, all the shit that happens outside in the cosmic idea of what these things are. Thanos existed. You know, the Kree existed. Right. You know, we're steps away from really from adding all these various characters that Fox was holding in its palm, like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, in a way that can be easily attributed to these ideals that have been already thought through by the Marvel guy, by Kevin Feige and Marvel guys. I think that we can certainly walk through that, and it's going to blow people's minds. It's going to blow people's minds, and at least I hope so. Because look, man, look at the thing behind me, right? Fox was like, well, you know, Star Wars did that, but we can't do a giant walking thing for Galactus. Like, the entire idea of Galactus is that it's supposed to. You can't comprehend what he is. You see what he is, right? As your mind comprehends it. That's the whole point. So instead of like going the route of giant purple space god, they went the route of cloud. And then you're like, come on. And by the way, I've never seen the Fantastic Four, Dawn of the Silver Surfer, or whatever.
No, you didn't. You didn't miss it much. That's the throw.
Exactly.
There was nothing. You know how in movies you have a scene where, like, and I say this all the time with like The Matrix 2, where you might not like it because you think it meet the first one, but it had that great car chase. Like you could just watch that movie for like just for that scene because of how well it was made and how cool it was, and not see the rest of the movie. That if a movie has at least that, you could be like, all right, at least I enjoyed that. That you have Silver Surfer and you didn't even have a scene like that in it. You know what I'm trying to say? And that makes no sense to me how you can ruin that.
The thing that makes me. By the way, you're talking about Matrix, and we know we're getting another Matrix movie later this year.
Yeah, it's coming.
I can't wait for that. The thing that's really interesting about the Matrix, the second Matrix movie, is there was story in there.
Yeah, there was. I enjoyed it. I know what you're saying.
None of us like Matrix 3 that much, but Matrix 2 had a lot of fucking story in it. Right, it was interesting, and it had a great that middle, that 25-minute freaking stunt scene with the the ghost guys and all that shit.
Yeah, cool. But when they built like a highway just to make it. Basically, they built the highway themselves just to make it. That's crazy.
That's great stuff, man. Built a highway just to do car stunts.
Just to make 20 minutes of a movie.
Yeah, and the thing is that then you have Tenet. Have you seen Tenet?
No, because you told me it was so bad. I don't want to spend my time.
It's not good. It's not a good movie. It really is not good.
I wanted it to be good, but when you gave it such a thumbs down, I'm like, do I want to spend 2.5 hours?
Like, he does this thing, which is like he does the thing about science, and he does, and it's really interesting. Tenet is like. It's like a bad version of Inception.
Right.
Inception is cool. Tenet is like Inception's redheaded stepbrother. It's like not good.
You don't want to talk about it.
It had a chance. It had some interesting parts, but when you start to figure it out, you're like, oh.
Poor Tenet.
I mean, for that, I watch Inception again because Inception is so fucking good.
It's a good film.
And that's what's funny is like, he made the Batman movie, he makes Inception, he makes Dark Knight, and you're like, fuck, can't this guy do anything wrong? And now I'm watching Dark Knight, and I'm like, Dark Knight's kind of dumb. As much as I liked it when it first came out, now I'm kind of like,
Right. Whatever. It's alright. It's alright.
Yeah. It's alright. All right, so we were going to talk about some other stuff. Talk about baseball. Talk about the NBA.
The NBA final. Today's game 6. It could end today. Milwaukee could. I heard. So I was listening to some podcast, and they said that tickets for the resale value for tickets in Milwaukee just for like regular seats are $15,000 right now. So like if you go to the one of those stub hubs or whatever, it's like $10,000 to $15,000, which is crazy.
That's too rich for my blood. I spent a lot of money on tickets to a show recently, more than I've ever spent on a show, but it was a seminal act for me, and I knew that if I didn't see it, I would never see this person. So, was a lot of money? Yes. Was it worth it? Yes. Am I getting a PlayStation anytime soon? No.
Well, there's some moments where you had when it comes to sports. So 15,000 is way too much money, but let's say 2015. I'll go back in time. If the Mets somehow would have made it to a Game 7 in Kansas City, I would have somehow found tickets to go to Kansas City and watch that game in Kansas City, because Game 7s don't happen very often, and when it's your team, like even if they lose, like that's one of those things where if
they went to the show and they went all the fucking way,
right? And if they win, you're going to be in Kansas City just laughing your ass off. You know what I'm trying to say? So there's I would have found a way. I don't care how much money it was just to do, because it was a Game 7. You know what I'm saying? When
the Red Sox won in 2005, was it 2005?
Right. When they won that
against the Yankees.
Championship against the Yankees. Right.
Right. And they went 7 games.
Right.
As I'm not a Red Sox fan.
Right.
Right. But I felt that. Like, the Yankees were like, meh. Yankee fans were like, meh. Give it to them. Just shut up. Just let them have it. They haven't fucking won a play. Just let them have it.
And they beat you handily the last game.
And they beat, that game, the last
4 games. Right.
The Yankees are fucking up. Oh my God! Wait a minute. Oh, let's look at the standings.
But as a sports fan, there's no better feeling than a Game 7 win. Like just the Yankees in Arizona that series, like that was a great Game 7. Like those Game 7s don't happen much, especially in baseball with the drama that comes with baseball. So if you see it, you have to go somehow. If you're a fan of that team, you have to make it somehow.
All right. So currently, the Mets are not doing as well as they were earlier. Right?
Still in first place.
I'm looking at the standings here.
Remember, baseball is a long season.
It's a long season. It is. You're right. Regular series standings. Here we go. Regular season. New York Yankees are in fourth place. They're actually tied. They're kind of tied with Toronto right now. They have one loss more. Right. Boston is in first place. Tampa Bay's in second, which is surprising. Fucking damn. 600. Damn.
Yeah.
Mets are in first place.
Yes.
Philadelphia's in second.
And the Yankees are playing the Phillies this week.
Milwaukee's in first place, and San Francisco's in first place in the West. So, got an interesting second half of the season here. With Boston being in first place. Yep, the Yankees are doing really bad. But maybe, really bad for the Yankees.
Right.
Maybe they'll pull up. Who knows? It's really funny that the Mets have pitching this year.
But everybody's getting hurt. That's the problem. Not everybody in the Mets.
You got batters up, and they're doing really well, man.
The Yankee problem is, and this happens in baseball sometimes, and more in baseball than in sports. No matter what type of team you have, that's why the Yankee dynasty run in middle '90s to early 2000s is so, you got to give them a lot of credit for it, because there's sometimes in baseball, especially where things just don't click. There's nothing you can do about it. You can have the same team year after year, but just the pitching is off, or somebody gets hurt at the wrong time, or error kind of changes the momentum of a series. Like and for the Yankees, it never really happened until 2001, until that Arizona series. Like something clicked in that Arizona series where the Yankee mystique just stopped becoming a mystique. You know what I'm trying to say? And it goes back to that 2001 series. But that's one of the things that just happens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's the same team, the same guys. The Yankees should have beat the Florida Marlins a couple of years later in the World Series. They just lost. There's no rhyme or reason to that. It just didn't click. You know what I'm trying to say? And baseball is just like that. That's why when you win, you got to take, you got to enjoy it in baseball, because it's not like basketball. You're the number one team in basketball. 99% of the time, you're going to win a championship, right? You can have the same team for a couple years and build some type of dynasty where you're in the playoffs every year. In baseball, that's not guaranteed. So, you got to give the Yankees credit for that little run. But like this year's one of these years, it's just not clicking for whatever reason. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the Yankees that much.
I'm just saying baseball in general.
I'm happy the Mets are where they are. I'm looking forward to see what's happening. Maybe, we'll go to the World Series. It'd be nice. At least go to the playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs? I'll put on playoffs. I'll put on my Hey man! Speaking of playoffs, Lasso Friday.
What? This Friday different.
This Friday, Ted, Lasso's up.
But they don't drop it like other places. Like you got to wait weekly for Apple, right? Like you got to wait every week. No, they drop it all one time.
Boom. They don't fuck around. Really? Okay. Whole show, everything, boom. Ted Lasso, watching it. I'm no. Actually, I have stuff happening this week. I'm not gonna watch shit.
Right,
but
busy man.
Yeah, my weekends have been spoken for.
See, look at that.
Currently, which is fine.
Hey, you got to live life.
Better than stay. Look, man, I spent 18 months trapped.
Right.
Well, let me see. Was it 18 months? March 2000 till it was a whole year. March 2000 to March 2001. Fucking not seeing anybody except people who didn't want to see me. So
set built like this.
Right? I mean, that's what happened. Sorry, I'm going. So I mean, now that I'm taking advantage of being around people that like being around me, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Right.
Right. If you go to the zoo, get some peanuts,
Look at you, zoo. The Bronx Zoo?
Go to the zoo. Let's go to the zoo.
Oh, the New Jersey. Oh, the New Jersey Zoo. Like, is it?
There's a zoo. There's a zoo out here. There's a zoo
What's
out
the big
here.
New Jersey Zoo?
There's a zoo out here, which I went to last year, with people who didn't want me to go anywhere. With them, called the Turtleback Zoo.
Oh yes, the Turtleback Zoo.
And
Yes,
the Turtleback
yes,
Zoo is nice.
Is that close to you? That because isn't that close? Like you got to go over the at least for us, you go over the Verrazano and then you still drive for like 10, 15 minutes.
No, for you would go. You would, since you're in Brooklyn. Yeah, you would have to go to the Verrazano. Yeah,
yeah. A bridge
I hate the Verrazano.
Yeah. I loathe the bridge.
Fucking loathe it. I've been driving into the city through the tunnels lately, and it's I take the tunnel. I take the tunnel to the Brooklyn Bridge, or the tunnel to the Manhattan Bridge,
right?
Or the tunnel to the tunnel,
right.
Because it ends up being about the same.
Right.
But it's go to some Chinatown, get some chow bao, and chill.
Just enjoying what the tri-state area has to offer. Is what I mean.
Man, you know what? I like ice cream a lot, man.
Yeah.
I like ice cream a great deal. And I went to Pharmacy. Have you ever been to Pharmacy, Jason?
Yes. I saw you some pictures you posted. Yeah,
I took some pictures
a while back. It wasn't recent that I've been. Yeah, but I've been to.
And I got myself a vanilla shake at Pharmacy and a hot dog, because they have hot dogs there. And I gotta tell you, if you want to get ice cream and you're in downtown Brooklyn, go to Pharmacy, because shit's tight.
Downtown Brooklyn has exploded over the last couple of years.
It's Cobble Hill, but
yeah.
Still, I went to that's where I saw Black Widow in Cobble Hill, and then I went to the Pharmacy.
In the Cobble Hill Theater.
Yep.
Small little theater, yeah.
Small little theater. Had my mask on most of the time.
Right.
But I was vaccinated with the heavy duty vaccination, Moderna.
Right.
Fucking around. All right. I'm thinking that we should be closing it up.
I think we hit all the marks.
Anything else that we need to talk about? Talked about Loki. We talked about. We didn't talk about what's the name. We didn't talk about Fox News basically telling people to go kill themselves, because. And Marjorie Taylor Greene getting kicked off of Twitter. Fuck her. About time for giving bad coronavirus information. But there's something else that happened that was really ridiculous. What was it?
More than Marjorie Taylor? More than what? More than what you mentioned?
Yeah.
That was in the news?
Yeah. Oh, CPAC was last week, but there was still some stuff.
Yeah, CPAC was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, there was all this stuff that's coming out for that new Trump book, and people are like losing their shit about it. That happened last week, where Trump was like, I don't do takeovers of governments, but if I did, it would be spectacular or some ridiculous bullshit like that. What an idiot. One guy who was walking around with the flag on the he's going to jail for 8 months.
Oh, that's right. I saw that
for being a traitor, a treasonous whatever. Because they really aren't going after them whole hog. They're doing trespassing and shit. Fuck these guys. They need to go to fucking jail for a while. 8 months does not do it. Send them away for because the guy was walking around with the flag. They cut him off. Fuck that. Send that guy away. 3 years. That guy is an insurrectionist. I don't understand this 8 months bullshit. You know what I mean? You go to town.
So you see that they put Jim Jordan as part of the committee to investigate the whole insurrection in January? Do you agree with this pick? Or what do you think? It'll be a spectacle? Because look, I don't care who the Republicans put in. Let's just and I go for both sides with this. We're dealing with a serious matter here, whether you agree with it or not. It's a serious situation to figure out what happens so we don't have, this happen again in the U.S. Capitol, right? We don't want, police to be killed in the Capitol steps or people in general to be dying in this. So we're going to do it let's not make it a spectacle. You know what I'm trying to say? And I just hope that everyone on this committee tries to take it seriously. You know what I'm trying to say? I know it's hope against hope, but you know what I'm trying to say?
Jim Jordan's an idiot.
but I mean, we've seen what the Jim Jordans of the world do.
What's
So
going to
I
happen is
understand,
this.
but
What's going to happen is this. The Capitol Police are going to be saying, like, hey, these guys are insurrectionists. And Jim Jordan's like, well, you can't say that about people. And he's going to look like a complete idiot. I'm going to love watching him flip-flam and flip-flap and flippity-flap all over him. Oh, did we talk about Cosby getting out last week?
yeah, I don't think we did, but he's a free man on a technicality, right?
Oh, we did talk about
We
it.
mentioned it briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay. I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck that rapist. Yeah, Jim Jordan he's not running for office again because he knows that he's going to be taken out. He's he wants to, I don't know what the, hey, they're kissing Trump's ass because they feel like they can get away with it. Let them. The thing that I'm more concerned about are the Republicans in Texas trying to stop people from voting. Are the Republicans in Ohio trying to stop people from voting? Are the Republicans in Pennsylvania trying to stop people, in Georgia trying to stop people from voting? Let them vote. Let people vote. What are you afraid of? If you have the ideas, you're going to win. Let them vote. You don't want to get kicked out of office because you know your ideas are bullshit. That's why. And you know younger people aren't going for your shit anymore. And you know trans kids look like fucking heroes against you assholes. So that's what's happening here. They don't want people to vote because they're going to get kicked out of office. And Jim Jordan is going to look like a fool, and it's going to be bad for them. And you know, Manchin fucked it up again. So it's a comedy of errors, man. It's a comedy of fucking errors. We'll see what happens. We'll hope for the best. I think this is all we have. I think this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
It's the doldrums. It's summer. Everybody's out doing stuff, getting coronavirus. You know how it is.
Summertime. Is that the song that
Summertime
Jazzy Jeff song? Summertime.
Dog of the week. Summertime.
Will Smith, baby.
Will
DJ
Smith.
Jazzy Jazz and the Fresh Prince.
Twice with Will Smith.
Come on, you can't go wrong with Will Smith. And one time he was on top of the world. He was doing everything. He was Mr. Hollywood.
I wish he was in Suicide Squad, man. He fucked it up. Could have been in Suicide Squad. I think this one's gonna be good.
Jumping out of planes and now working out and trying to be in shape and stuff.
Trying to figure out what his wife is doing. That kid.
That guy.
You know what it is? It's like Will Smith is like, him and his wife are like, open relationship, can fuck whoever we want. And his wife like, fucking my kid's best friend. And Will Smith's like, what? What's going on? You're what now?
You're who?
And don't get me wrong. I as Will Smith, I mean, he was overcome. You could see that. I don't know if you guys saw the Red Table or whatever the hell they do this.
Oh, his
wife and him are polyamorous, so they opened their marriage to having to involving other people in relationships.
Uh-huh.
So It's like they have, and I guess they have there's all kinds of different flavors of polyamory. I guess that their flavor of polyamory is that they're the primary couple, and then they involve people underneath themselves and whatever. I don't care what they do. It's not my thing. I'm not into.
Right. That's in their world. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm also into polyamory, but I do not have that kitchen table polyamory. I do not want the person I'm involved with, like, meeting me at the kitchen table on Tuesday with whoever else I'm to talk about. I'm like, you know, hey, time's up. Hit the bricks. More about that. I want to talk about that sometimes. I will talk about it, but I'm not. Maybe not today.
Right.
But I'm not into that shit where you're like, on Tuesday, it's like Tuesday's your day, Wednesday's everybody is whoever's day, and that's how it is. I don't want you hanging out on Tuesday and on Wednesday to meet the next. No. You gotta go. Right. And that's how I want to be. I don't want to, and same thing with your shit. I don't want to be part of your shit. Keep your shit over there. And I think that's kind of like what Will Smith was trying to say, that maybe some people were off limits. And his wife's like, no, homeboy's not off limits. And he was like, what the fuck?
He was looking around like, is this really happening?
Yeah, he was like confused. He was like, what?
Right.
She completely steamrolled him. And you know, and she's like that. I don't know. Summertime, great song, Will Smith. Anyway,
Summertime.
song of the week. We do not own this song. I don't own this song.
We just condone the fun that comes along with that song.
Yes, condone the fun. All right, kids. So that's it for us, I think, and we're gonna end this one. Thank you for joining us. Whoever joined us. I haven't even checked. We haven't even seen how we're doing. What our ratings
exploding.
What our ratings
for the roof.
8. Damn. Not so good.
Well, the thing is, it's summertime, so people are vacationing. They're at the beach.
Our May 4th show. Wow. Okay, so let's go back to our original show of February. Our February show 14. Our February 20th show was 14. Our first show.
That's 14 million people, folks.
Our February 21st show was the second show. We did 2 of them at once. Was 20 people.
Boom. See?
Our March 30th show that we put up, our first show from the March 17th show was 31 people.
31.
31. And that's our biggest show so far. The next big one up is show number 11 from May 4th. And
see, but that's what is that showing you? That's showing you the momentum was building, and then vacation time started. So those people that built the momentum are now away on vacation. They're dealing with kids. They're in Disney right now. They're doing all sorts of things. They're not paying attention.
So I'm gonna say we have the 28th. So from the 28th, we've got 8 people coming in for that hour and 17 minutes. Hey guys, look, maybe you don't believe me, but the last couple shows that we did. Our June shows are hilarious.
Yes.
Our June 28th, our June 22nd show with our friend Justin Gray. Justin Gray was really funny.
One of the classics.
It's a great show. Just check it out. Anyway,
let's remember when we explode and become big, we're gonna have the Howard Stern. We're gonna put the mosh together when we're away for a week and just put the classics, and that's gonna be in the top 5.
Yeah, we should get more guests. Our guests are hilarious. All right, folks, we're cutting it out.